Hey, Eric with you. Thanks for joining me. Have you ever said this to your children? How many times do I have to tell you? Or maybe it's, I've told you that at least 20 times, 30 times, and it still doesn't seem to get through. Have you ever said anything like that to your children? I sure have. And that's the topic I wanted to speak to you about. It's communication, of course, and more specifically, it's active listening. And interestingly, your kids, your children will only listen to you to the extent that they feel you are listening to them. So if they do not feel you listen to them, then it goes both ways. They are not going to listen to you in the same manner. So if we can improve our listening skills as parents, it's a great way to teach children how to improve their listening skills also. So I wanted to give you some pointers on it, and again, it's called active listening. It's actually a skill that we can work on and develop to really enhance our communication with our children both ways. And this can be so substantial as children grow up in terms of them believing in us and that we support them in building their confidence. So let's go through a couple of the steps of active listening. So if your child is telling you something, and it could be anything, something from school, something they're thinking about, questions they have, anything applies here. First of all, we want to make eye contact with them. We want to show that we're involved, we're with them. So making eye contact is number one, very critical. Number two, we want to stay neutral too. So if they're telling us something and we know they're completely off base or completely wrong, do not get that state of mind. Just stay in a neutral state of mind. Just keep going. Let them keep explaining. So we don't want to make any assumptions or prejudices. We want to stay neutral, whatever they're telling us. We also, of course, want to avoid any type of interruptions or distractions. So if your child is trying to tell you something, try to get somewhere where there's not any other variables. You're away from other people. Maybe you're in their bedroom or in the car, somewhere where it's just you one-on-one, and there's not going to be any distractions. What is this? I didn't even number these, but we'll go with feeling. Oh, I'm sorry, body language actually. After avoid interruption, body language, very important too. If children are acting in a certain manner with their body language, try to show that back, mirror that type of body language right back at them. And that again will show unconsciously that you are involved, you're with them, you're following them. So body language, try to mirror their body language. Feeling also, if they're telling you something excitedly, show excitement. If they're telling you something that they're disappointed about, be disappointed with them. So try to match their feeling also. Questions too. Ask them a lot of questions. That again will demonstrate that you're listening to everything they're saying, and you want to know more, that you're interested. So questions are very good. Also probe with your questions. Maybe if it's something indirectly related to what they're telling you, kind of probe, and you can find out much more about what they're thinking, or if they're telling you something and there really is something underlying that they're not getting at. So probe a little bit with what they're telling you. I mentioned this also, but interest again, be encouraging. Ask them to tell you more. Match their state of feeling, match their state of body language. Be interested. Clarify. After, if they tell you something, ask them to maybe say, can you say that again? I'm not sure I'm understanding. Make them clarify points. This again will signal that you're very, very involved in what they're telling you. So clarifying. When they're all done with their spiel, whatever they have told you, you tell them back. Summarize what they just told you. And that again will show them that you followed all along what they were telling you. And then at the end, when you summarize, it makes them feel like you really want to know what they told you. So summarize what they've spoken about. And then I really like this one at the bottom here. I hope you can see it. It says reflect. So maybe, later that day or even the next day or a couple days later, think about what they told you, and then come back to them and ask them some more questions about it. That will really, really demonstrate to your children that you are following along, that you are really listening to what they have to say. And like I said at the top, children will only listen to us to the extent that they feel we are listening to them. So if we can employ this active listening and improve upon it as their parents, it's only going to help them listen to us in a much better way also. So it can be very beneficial for both parties involved here. And to end, I've heard this before, that God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a purpose, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So there you have it. How can you argue with that? So I hope that helps. Please work on this. I'm always trying to work on this with my kids, trying to become a better active listener. If you can pass this on, work on it yourself, pass it on to other parents so they can also work with it and really hone in on our communication skills with our children. And if you can like the video also, that will certainly get it out to more active listeners. And if you could subscribe, I'd love to have you. All right, thanks so much, and I will be talking to you soon.